It was the vagina that stopped me in my tracks. I was on foot. It was hot pink. It was also on a pole. No, not that kind of pole. A large cement light pole along the Flamingo Beach Walk in my neighborhood in Rio de Janeiro. It was also 2 feet long, spray painted merely alongside the outline of a large mouse labeled Clitter. I was amazed. Nobody seemed to mind it being there either. People jogging, biking, the unhoused who camp in the area, groups setting up mini barbecue grills, they all seemed oblivious. When you're in a new environment, your brain wants to make sense of things, find patterns, survive. One of my favorite professors used to say, "You are all nervous. You cannot yet see the shapes of the animals in the tall grass, but you will. You will train your eyes, and you will." This 10-month job in Brazil has been the most sustained period of self-reliance in a place without a decent grasp of language, without a local support network that I've ever had. So I was looking for patterns, looking for signs, friendly signs, anything to make the environment feel like I could make my way around, like I was a part of it. Street signs here have long Portuguese names that, like the streets themselves, curve and twist around. I don't know the jumbled names of most of the streets I walk along, and I don't know which ones are safest. And like everyone else here, I keep my head on a swivel, as they say here. But back to the vagina. Actually, vaginas. I have photographed and counted over 30 of them. They are friendly, symbols of triumph. When have you ever seen vaginas accurately and happily displayed anywhere in public? Vaginas with clitorises. Clitorises that are often portrayed as calmly smiling faces. You know, like the Virgin of Guadalupe. The one that gets me every time is on the entrance ramp of the local skate park. Everyone who enters goes over it. It's huge, beautifully stylized in dark pink, light pink, white. And the inscription, "Entre con coragem," or "Enter with courage." A pretty apt motto for a skate park. It's freaking brilliant. And nobody seems to mind at all. Wait, let me back up a sec. Do you remember back in 2020, all the rowdy graffiti around Houston? There was a lot of hullabaloo about some anonymous tagger putting a huge "rowdy" in all caps all around town. Someone started an Instagram account with photos of them and was actually kind of obnoxious, like a teenager looking for attention. These, different. Vaginas, cooler. And in comparison, way more subtle. They're not 6 feet tall, they're art. And you might think that these images, the fun of exploring and looking for them, that's the exciting part. There's more. There are tons of recurring graffiti icons throughout Rio. The sleeping lizard, the centipede, the giant eye. Buildings are covered with cryptic stylings. Well, there's this one that looks like Crooked Dick Dunn from Houston's Doomsday Wrestling. Eye mask, mustache, black and white horizontally striped shirt, holding a money bag that I've seen everywhere, all over the city. I took a photo of it a while back and sent it to our Doomsday Wrestling Facebook group. And shout out to Brendan Clements, by the way, for that character. Since then, those money bag holding bank robber icons became part of the landscape here for me, something I took for granted. I've seen tons of this figure all over the city, and many that have been there for some amount of time and weathering. In August of this year, after returning from another beautiful yet lonely weekend walk, I took a different way back and stumbled upon a utility box, recognizing instantly the pink and purple outlines and smiling face of another vagina tag. But there was another figure layered behind it in the same colors. And it was the bank robber, Crooked Dick Dunn, or as he is styled here, Tim Tim. Y'all, I damn near lost my mind. I think I even yelled, What? In delighted surprise. The graffiti was fairly fresh too. I decided that Vagina and Tim Tim were at minimum best friends, had done this together, and that they weren't the same person. The next day after work, I had a purpose to get outside. I went back to the 4 closest vagina graffitis I could find to search for clues. Y'all, for every vagina, there is a Tim Tim figure within a few feet. Every single one. Look, y'all, this past year and a half, 2 years, have been hard. Not just the challenge of this job, moving away temporarily to another continent and language, but knowing how much it can loosen what you think you have. Wonder what'll be left to come back to, and hope someone remembers your face. During this time, I lost my stepdad. I and my Doomsday crew and Houston lost Greg. And one of the best things about Greg and Doomsday was a bunch of nerds creating a mighty force of fun and togetherness and exhilaration and adventure against the world beating us down, beating all of us here tonight down. And I've been afraid to never find that again, never experience that feeling again, afraid none of us would, that we would have nothing left to fight back with. Y'all, there are some days that have been dark on the inside lately, you know? Not just for me, for all of us. Yet, some exhilaration and adventurous spirit was here, a continent away, a hidden in plain view evidence of nerdy best friends running around making art just because. And it made me feel good. But wait, there's more. I found more and more vagina and Tim Tim graffiti in other areas of Rio, by the North Zone University I work at, by Lagoa by Ipanema, near the hike to the 3 waterfalls in downtown. I even got my friend Joe on the hunt, and he found some too. Some of the images show them with a heart between them. Some are more subtle, where you have to look, say, across the street to find the match. Turns out there's only one graffiti paint store in Rio, Doña Bomba, not far from me. No doubt a hotbed of subculture activity. Here's the thing. I figured that Tim Tim had an online presence and found him on Instagram. He is at TimTim-RJ. Pretty neat, right? But none of his posts seem to show the ones he's done near hers, and most are from a few years ago. Have you tried searching for vagina on Instagram? Or vagina Rio de Janeiro? Yeah. So, one hot Friday afternoon in October, I side-quested to Doña Bomba, dressed in my most punk for, street cred. There was a 20-something kid behind the counter embodying underground coolness. I showed him some photos, asking in my most garbled Portuguese, "Sao amigos sim?" What ensued was a wildly fun conversation with him not wanting to share information, yet clearly proud and happy that his friends were getting recognized while very furtively sharing Instagram tags with me. Her name is... I have waited over a month to look at vagina.vandal's profile. I imagine them slipping freely about in the moonlight, reflecting off Rio Guanabara Bay, laughing as they spray their designs, playing with colors on a merry subterfuge. I looked at Vagina Vandal's profile on November 30th. It didn't occur to me that she does her graffiti during the day. In retrospect, that does make sense. It's a recent profile. She follows one person and has 1,771 followers. Now, 1,772. It doesn't show all her tags, but in some of the posts, someone has taken a photo of her as she turns around, laughing while painting. She looks to be in her late 20s, casually dressed with a ponytail. As of this writing, today, December 2nd, I sent her a thank you message. And thank you, all y'all at the Continental Club tonight and online. Those vaginas, baby, now they're bringing joy worldwide.